Hello, welcome to the Grand Prix podcast! Welcome to the main stage of Heroes of F1. I'm your host, and today we're serving you 5 legendary queens who snatched the crown of the F1 stage and set off to the moon. Now, we all know you're born naked and the rest is drag, but these 5 were born with racing suits and the rest is herstory, honey.
Didn't realise it was June.
I've actually gone really red with how embarrassed I am doing this. Gentlemen, start your engines, and may the best legend win. Category is Speed Demon Eleganza. First up, Ayrton Senna. Stunning. Brazil's finest, serving up Rain Goddess Realness. 3 titles, 65 poles, 6 Monaco crowns. Senna, can I call you demanding? Because you asked for $1 million per race, and when the wire was late, you refused to leave your house. The audacity, the nerve, the gall, the gumption. I live. Those wet weather performances, shoot! You turned it and burned it. That's using every colour in the crayon box. Congratulations, Shantae, you stay.
I can't wait to hear the inspiration for this. She went to Heroes, Shiro, Drag Queens.
You got it.
Fucking hell.
It's a Sunday night, okay? It wasn't working as quick as normal. Next to the judges panel, Professor Sid Watkins, Dr. Realness, serving us lifesaver Lukes. Bernie Eccleston tried to pressure you to clear Nelson Piquet after a massive crash. Security! You told Bernie, if Nelson gets in that car, I'm leaving the circuit. Bernie backed down. This cover girl had some bass in her walk. Sid, you better work. Shantae, you stay.
We're never getting invited to any F1
Maybe the premiere of a RuPaul's video or something. Bringing it to the runway, Adrian Newey. Can I call you a genius? Because that's what you are, Henning. 26 championships, and you never even sat in the car. Miss Thing, you got fired in 1990. They called you a one-hit wonder. Williams without you, tumbleweeds. McLaren without you, struggling. Red Bull with you, 38 wins out of 44 races, boots the house down. Adrian, how's your head? No complaints? Too busy designing championship cars? No tea, no shade, but you are the blueprint. Shantae, you stay. Category is Redemption Realness. Walking the runway, Sebastian Vettel. Oh, Henny, 4 titles, you finger-wagging queen. You deliberately hit Lewis in Baku. Girl, you were serving us villain fantasy. But then, the character arc. You showed up with B hotels, pride flags in Hungary.
Oh, yes.
You really stood up for the LGTV BBQ community. If you can't save the planet, how are you going to save Formula One? Your transformation, gorgeous. Your activism, tongue pop legendary. Shantae, you stay. And finally, Lewis Hamilton, 7-time world champion. Miss Thing showed up to an award ceremony at age 10 in a borrowed suit and borrowed shoes and told Ron Dennis, I'm going to race for you. That's star quality. 103 wins, 103 poles. First and only black driver. You didn't just break barriers, you demolished them, hunty. Abu Dhabi 21, robbery, rigor Morris. But you responded with grace. Some queens would have been very attacked, but not you, Sir Lewis. What rhymes with slay? You went vegan and got knighted, baby. You're not just in the race, you're rewriting the rulebook. Now, the library is open, and we're about to spill the tea on these legends. If you can't race yourself, how in the hell are you going to race somebody else? Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Remember, to be a success in F1, you got to understand the landscape, and these legends didn't just understand it, they paved it and they threw glitter on top. So sashay into an episode and remember, good luck and don't fuck it up. Let the music play.
To the
moon.
Wait, why do I just want to stack this up on one Drag Race?
Yes. Same. Girl, I'm tired.
That was brilliant.
Thank you so much.
I still don't fully understand the inspiration, but I loved it anyway. It's hero, Shiro,
Yes.
Drag Queen.
Thank you.
Okay. It's obvious.
Thank you.
You just have to think like it is.
Yeah. The fun fact is I haven't had a personality around you two for the last half an hour, but this is why. It's all going into that.
All been going into the laptop.
Yep.
Well, Well, on that note, shall we begin?
Yeah.
Reem, do you remember who our first queen of the day is going to be?
Honestly, that was so overwhelming. I don't think I can. Was it? It was Driver.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, another hint. All of them are in F1.
Really? Well, that's news to me. Was it Ayrton Senna?
Yes!
Oh, I got one right.
Correctamundo.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I get points. I get to stay.
No, you're going to have to
Likewise.
lip sync for your life.
Oh, fuck, I should have mentioned that.
Damn. Literally the main part of the show.
That would have been good, wouldn't it? Okay, before we start.
We can't lip sync on a podcast. This is audio only.
Just 2 minutes of silence.
Just lots of panting. No, I was going to say, what was your... Can't see you lip sync.
Ow.
You
I was doing a joke for both of you. It's not always about the audience.
Don't tell them that.
I just saw you like... No, I was going to ask you... There's literally no need. I was going to ask you, what's your favourite lip sync battle from RuPaul's Drag Race?
Oh, I
My
love
one-
that question.
My one was Valentina, where she didn't know the words,
Yes,
and she
and
wore
she
the
kept the
fucking thing
mask.
over her mouth, and they were like, "Remove the mask," and then she did, and she was like,
I've got two. I've got two.
Okay.
I've got Shut Up and Drive, iconic.
Who did that one?
It was Alyssa from season 5.
Oh.
And Tatiana, I think. Iconic. And then my second one is I whip my hair back and forth, I whip my hair back and forth.
Yes.
That one.
Roxy with the wig
Absolutely
reveal.
iconic.
My God,
Love that
that's
one.
actually iconic.
I got
Yeah.
a seizure watching that.
Just so you know, like the 50-50 gender split on who listens. There's so many straight men that's going, what the fuck are they talking about?
I thought this is a Formula One podcast. What is this knitting session?
And neither is it.
Well, since you asked, mine is Evie Oddly and Brooklyn Heights.
Oh,
Sorry,
yes.
not sorry.
Yes, that was a really
Weirdly
good
enough,
one.
we had this conversation
We
last
did.
week.
And we said we're going to watch Drag Race.
We
So
didn't
don't
do that.
mind.
Yes,
That's crazy. How did you know we had this conversation?
we spent so much time together.
No, but we were at work.
Oh, you've told him something there. girl, you're talking too much. Okay, we're going to start with a very legendary fishy queen. Do you know much about Ayrton Senna?
I've heard his name on the podcast a few times. I know that because this is a Heroes episode, he was a legend in the sport. Was he in Ferrari? No,
No.
not Ferrari. Must be one of the big teams.
Yeah, but you know the teams move around. Like Williams had its era of being incredible, and
It's not going to be Haas, is it?
They started in 2016,
Is
and he
it
passed
actually?
away in 1994, so that didn't quite work out timing-wise.
I don't know.
Did you
You go ahead.
actually say that you thought Ayrton Senna drove fast?
No, I said it's not going to be Haas, is it?
but it wasn't a rhetorical question. You had like genuine curiosity in your eyes.
Yeah.
Right, why don't you talk us through Ayrton Senna?
Okay, Senna entered Formula One in the mid-1980s, just as the series was reaching new heights of popularity through Bernie Ecclestone's TV deals. F1 was radiating Hollywood quality, and Senna had everything. The looks, the charisma, and the freakish ability to push a car beyond the upper limit and keep it there for longer than anyone else. Have you seen a photo of him?
No.
He's rather dreamy. I'll show you a photo.
Ooh.
What set Senna apart was his absolute unwillingness to compromise. Inside the cockpit, away from the track, at the negotiation table, he was totally inflexible, utterly convinced that only he could be right. And his ruthlessness was low-key kind of iconic. He once persuaded McLaren and Marlboro to pay him $1 million per race in 1993.
1 million per race?
Yeah, back in those days as well.
Oh, damn.
There weren't as many races.
Oh.
Mind, there weren't 24 races on
Yeah,
the
that's true, yeah.
calendar.
That is true. Then demanded the money be deposited into his bank account every Wednesday before a Grand Prix. And when a wire transfer failed to clear in time, he refused to leave his home in Sao Paulo to report for duty at the Portuguese Grand Prix until a fax confirmed the money had landed safely. He then flew to the wrong airport, arrived midway through Friday practice, and immediately crashed.
Oh. Well, that's not great.
Iconic.
Lost his edge there, I reckon.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
a little
lost his edge. This uncompromising nature served him well. Beyond his ambition and belief in his own rightness, Senna wasn't going to let anything get in his way, even his first wife.
Oh.
He left his first wife in Brazil, divorcing her because he said if he was going to make it in Formula One, he had to give it all his time and attention and couldn't do that if he was married.
Oh, his poor wife.
Sounds like she got lucky estate. Imagine you're married to someone that just wants to go racing around in a circle on Sundays.
To be fair,
Yeah.
that's like why Lewis has never fully committed to anyone or had kids or anything like that.
He sure has fun dilly-dallying though, doesn't he?
He has his fun, but he never commits.
Who are some of the people that we've seen
I
him with?
was doing the tier list between Lewis and Massa's
Oh, yes.
2008 title fight, and in the final clip, which is when he won the championship that year, it was
Nicole Scherzinger.
Yes, from Pussycat Dolls.
Yeah.
And it was like mostly her screaming in,
Yeah.
in the crowd.
They were together for a long old time.
Yeah, that's I think one of his longest relationships
Yeah.
that he's had. But
Okay.
he's been public. I don't know what else he's been doing.
And speaking of marriages, congratulations to Charles Leclerc, who has
Oh,
just
yes.
proposed to his girlfriend, well, fiance now.
They are nothing more than beautiful.
They are honestly one of the most attractive couples on the entire planet.
And
Fully.
Convince me otherwise.
Yeah.
sometimes I get annoyed with the coverage not showing the racing, but when I see Charles Leclerc's girlfriend, she is so beautiful that I'm like, I get it.
And there's probably thousands of heartbroken Charles Leclerc fans currently, men and women, that are just sad that he's now
He's off the
taken and
market
he's off
even
the
more.
market, yeah.
But your delusion continues to fester and run ragged because Carlos Sainz is not nailed down with marriage.
Exactly.
Nice.
Yeah. I actually don't know if he's married or not.
He's not married. Just confirmed that with what I just said.
He does have a girlfriend though.
Yeah.
Is he nailed down with marriage? Hello?
Well, as we know with Ayrton Senna, marriage is not stable.
That's true. What a weird bit of dating advice to
But
take of an
it's
F1 driver
true.
from the 90s.
What's the stat? 51% of marriages end in divorce?
I don't
Oh.
know.
It's high.
51% of marriages in this group didn't end well. Sorry, not true. I just wanted to cause some drama. I want to be featured on Shadeborough.
Move on.
Yeah. The partnership with Alain Prost became one of F1's greatest and most bitter rivalries. Prost and Senna were teammates in name alone. They mixed like motor oil and water.
Like Reem and her ex-husband.
Shout out Barry.
We love to tell lies on this podcast.
Don't make that the headline.
Don't say I have an ex-husband.
Sorry,
I've
we all have
never
a
been
past. We all have a past. They were barely on speaking terms, and informing team boss Ron Dennis from day one that they would never agree to any form of team orders. Papaya rules, eat your heart out. Prost would refuse to pull over for Senna and vice versa, even if it had been in McLaren's strategic interest. The resentment between them festered from the first time Senna suited up in his McLaren overalls, and their rivalry reached a climax
Oh.
in 1988, when Senna swerved towards Prost in Estoril, nearly shunting him into the pit wall. Prost said afterward, "I knew how much Senna wanted to be champion, but I hadn't realised he was prepared to die for it. If he wants it that badly, he can have it." And Senna did want it that badly.
Oh. Is this a hero or villain arc?
Hero,
Oh.
let it simmer. The 1988 season result highlighted their essential differences. Senna was always on the limit and sometimes over it, and took 8 victories and 3 runner-up places. Prost, a master of consistency. He had 7 wins and 7 P2s.
Damn.
Under that year's point system, Senna was world champion. The feud erupted into a full civil war in 1989, reaching its climax at the penultimate race in Japan, where the two men started from the front row, and on the first corner, Senna tried to pass Prost and knocked himself and his rival out of the race. The championship went to Prost, who promptly took his title and left McLaren for Ferrari. But Prost couldn't shake Senna. The 1990 season reached another climax at
Could you
Japan.
love a climax in this script? Huh?
I'm not talking about my love of climaxes. Where Senna again tried to pass Prost and knocked both out of the race, securing his second world title. Meanwhile, Williams were developing something rather extraordinary and revolutionary, which we've spoken in a previous podcast episode. Can you remember what it is?
Oh.
In our loopholes episode.
Oh. Ooh.
I know that means no.
It means nothing here. Nothing to offer. Knee.
That's it. They built a car with acne. Let's move on.
God's sake.
No, they created the FW14B.
Featuring
Knee.
Suspension.
What?
Even when you say it, she doesn't hear it.
Active suspension. Do you remember it was basically like a supercomputer? And it was controlled from the garage. And it could anticipate bumps, corners, adjusting on the fly from rigid yielding to corner. And the onboard computer also managed a semi-automatic gearbox, traction control, and telemetry.
Yes, I do remember that.
Fantastic.
Tell us more about it.
Yeah. Tell us all
Well,
about
you
it,
said
kiddo.
all of it.
Don't call us greedy.
What else can I add?
Why did they choose Nigel Mansell as the man to drive that car? Why do you you're squinting so hard?
She's now thinking, who the fuck is Nigel Mansell?
Fucking hell.
What happened to waiting till the end of the year for the exam?
Yeah, no, sorry. No, that's not me, sorry.
Not like in the pop quizzes.
Your lip sync for your life is not going very well.
It really isn't. By this point, you fall off the stage 5 times.
But I become a fan favourite.
Self-praise is no praise.
You don't say that. You say that yourself. Nigel Mansell, he's a
Yes.
driver, dominated the 1992 season, but Williams viewed drivers as rather interchangeable. When Mansell's contract negotiations fell apart, they replaced him with Alan Prost, who stomped the field to win his 4th world title in 1993 before retiring. His one condition for joining Williams has been that he would not be teammates with Senna again.
Oh,
Drama.
very.
Senna spent 2 years watching Williams' cars disappear into the distance. He was so desperate to drive for them that he had offered to do it for free. 15 days later, after
I'm
Prost...
asking 1 million per race to drive it for free. Someone is going bankrupt.
15 days later, after Prost's retirement announcement, Senna signed with Williams for 1994, calling it a dream come true and the beginning of a new life in motor racing for me. However, the FIA had banned the electronic driver aids, active suspension, tractor control and anti-lock brakes for the 1994 season, fundamentally changing the car that Senna would drive. But I would like to take you to a moment in Senna's beautiful, beautiful career that highlights what kind of a driver he was. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. During the final session of qualifying in Monaco, midway through the 1988 season, everybody around the circuit was transfixed by one man in a red and white McLaren and a bright yellow helmet who was throwing an F1 car around the narrow streets of Monte Carlo like no one had ever dared to before. Ayrton Senna was about to complete the most incredible lap in the history of F1 that the world would never see.
Why would they not see it?
Senna had come out of the pits and put 3 seconds between him and the rest of the field. Pole position was already safely in the bag. But that was no longer the target for Ayrton. He kept pushing faster and faster, trying to search for the limit, and it was clear Ayrton was quite possibly out of his mind.
Oh.
In one sense, that was nothing new. Ayrton drove with a conviction that felt like his skill was gifted to him from the gods, and had always treated qualifying as a religious experience. From the day he entered F1, his uncanny ability to wring every last ounce of performance out of a car over the course of a lap set him apart from the rest of the field. As Ayrton crossed the line to begin his 9th lap, he was about to produce the single most incredible lap in history. Even as Ayrton whizzed past the end of the first sector of that lap, he was 0.4 of a second quicker than his own fastest lap.
Damn.
Ayrton's own team, McLaren, had ordered him to come back into the pits 2 laps earlier. He'd already got pole position in the bag. They didn't see any benefit for him to keep going. Ayrton didn't agree. "Please let me. I want to do it. For me," he said over the radio. Very dramatic. Ayrton's driving style wasn't elegant by any means. He would smash the throttle through the corner, yank on the wheel, but this was developed by Ayrton to test whether his car was on the very edge of traction. Like turning the wheel, for instance, if the car's path tightens, then it wasn't at the peak of grip. But if you turn the wheel and it stays on the same path, then you're at the limit, or possibly about to be way past it. By constantly adjusting his driver inputs through a series of small, super-fast movements with the steering wheel and throttle, Ayrton could test the car's response in real time and keep it on the razor edge of performance. And by the time he had finished the second sector of the lap, he was 1.1 seconds faster than anyone else, including himself.
And
Wow.
you've seen Monaco, how tight those
Yeah.
streets are.
The most bonkers part of Ayrton Senna's perfect lap in Monaco is that no footage of it exists.
Oh.
The onboard cameras that are on the 20 F1 cars every race today weren't introduced until the following season, and the director responsible for the TV cameras during that qualifying session chose to focus on the Benetton car driven by Alessandro Nannini. I know, who the fuck is that? I don't know. I don't know.
We didn't get to see Ayrton's lap, but he was loving his screen time going, nee, 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 nee. We've made that joke before.
I liked it.
I don't get it.
Oh, God.
Like, na, 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 na. His name is Nannini.
Oh.
For God's sake.
Do you know what I like about that? Definitely not reacting too late to that joke. That's what I liked. The only people that got to witness the magic were the fans in attendance, the crew members in the pit lane, and one rather gorgeous Brazilian man who was floating 30 feet above that red and white McLaren.
What?
I thought I'd wait to let you process that before you questioned it. Because the precise moment that he rounded the final bend of the track, Ayrton Senna was deep in the throes of an out-of-body experience.
Oh.
What Senna said in his own words when he described it to a journalist was, "I was on pole by a few tenths, and then by half a second, and then almost a second, and then over a second. I was just going, more and more, and there was a stage where I was over 2 seconds quicker than everybody else, including my teammate with the same equipment. I realised at that moment, suddenly, that I was well over something conscious. Monaco is small and narrow, and at that moment I had a feeling that was in a tunnel. The circuit was just a tunnel for me. I was going, and within the physical limit of the circuit, it was like I was on rails. Then suddenly I realised it was too much. I slowed down, drove back slowly to the pits, and said to myself that I shouldn't go out any more that day, because for that moment I was vulnerable for extending my own limits and the car's limits. Limits that I never touched before. It was something that I was not that I was in control, but I was not aware exactly of what was going on. I was just going, an amazing experience. By the time Ayrton snapped back into reality, he'd qualified on pole a whole 1.4 seconds quicker than his teammate Alain Prost in the same McLaren car. Ayrton couldn't quite process what he had done. He said, "On that day I said to myself, that was the maximum for me. No room for anything more. I never really reached that feeling again."
Please tell me he won the race after that.
After storming away at the start, he led the race by nearly a minute from Prost, when he lost concentration, loosened his grip on the wheel and crashed into a barrier 12 laps from the finish. And he was so upset that when he extracted himself from the busted up car, he left the circuit, marched back to the luxury Houston Palace high-rise and watched the rest of the race from his ninth floor apartment. And when it was all over, he took a long nap. And hours later, no one from McLaren had the faintest idea where he'd gone.
Oh, that's quite upsetting.
To know he didn't win the race.
A complex fellow.
Yeah. Damn, F1 movie must have been inspired by Ayrton Senna.
What?
F1 movie. Remember that cheesy moment at the end where Brad Pitt's character is like driving and he's leading the race and he said it's like I've zoned out of body experience driving through a tunnel. It's basically the same thing.
It's actually wild that you remember anything from that shit show of a film.
How do you
Honestly,
remember that?
it was
But you don't
horrible.
remember the stuff we talked to you about, the supercomputer and the Williams?
I don't know, I just remember that moment being very cheesy.
Damn.
Note to self, make podcast more cheesy. I thought we were at the limit.
Bring back the Friends references, thank you.
But the thing that made him different was that he possessed a very powerful physical presence. When he spoke, he had very warm eyes that were sparkling and his voice was dripping with intensity.
Oh.
And he had an eloquence that was rather spellbinding. And even in press conferences, you could hear a pin drop when he spoke with a hypnotic effect.
Oh.
And he saw qualifying sessions as like a religious experience. He was very spiritual.
Wow.
And he loved children and gave millions of his personal fortune, which was estimated at around $400 million when he died, to help provide a better future for the underprivileged in Brazil, which
Oh, wow.
and much of it was done secretly.
Oh,
He was very patriotic.
so all that 1 million per race went to something good.
Exactly.
Oh.
And if we talk about his tragic passing, in 1994, Ayrton Senna lost control of his Williams, exiting the flat-out Tamburello corner and struck a concrete barrier, and the car's onboard telemetry said that Senna was travelling at 193 miles per hour when he lost control, and though the deep black tyre marks on the track testified to violent braking in the split second that Senna realised that he was in trouble, his car made impact at a speed of roughly 140 miles per hour, and the front wheel flew back towards the cockpit and struck Senna's helmet. At 6:40 p.m. local time, just 2 hours after the race ended, Senna was pronounced dead from severe head injuries. He was only 34. Officials who'd examined his car found a rolled-up Austrian flag that if he had won, Senna planned to raise in honour of Roland Ratzenberger, a driver from Salzburg who had been killed in a high-speed crash during qualifying just 24 hours earlier. In the wake of his death, the government of Brazil declared 3 days of public mourning, capped by a state funeral, which drew 3 million people to the streets of Sao Paulo. And his long-term rival of Alain Prost, who they struggled to even talk, was one of the pallbearers, and he remains to have a lot of respect and love for Senna.
Oh.
So there you go. Hero.
Yeah, I can see why he's considered a hero.
Yeah?
Yeah. I haven't heard any other stories of people treating qualifying like that and being able to beat their own record.
Yeah.
And just do it for the sake of loving it. And then, I mean, his money went for something good, and, you know, he had the skills to prove it.
Hell yeah.
And he's a huge inspiration to Lewis Hamilton as well.
Yes.
That's why Lewis's helmet is yellow, because he wears the yellow helmet for Ayrton Senna.
Oh.
And because of how much he's always, you know, spoken so highly of Senna, Brazil actually made Lewis an honorary citizen.
Oh, you have told me that before. Yeah.
Also, the family of Ayrton Senna gifted Lewis a helmet of Ayrton's in
That's
honour of him,
cute.
because he's always championed him.
That's
But
cute.
yeah.
It's very heartbreaking whenever you mention the drivers from around this time, like around the 1980s or anything previous, because majority of them ended up dying in those sort of situations, and it's insane and also amazing how much safety has evolved, but it's also really important to remember the people who didn't make it through those times and,
Yeah, it's very true.
you know, died doing the sport. So, yeah, very, very much like a reality check
Yeah,
on the sport.
Million percent. Now, do you want to hit us with the next hero of F1?
Of course. So from Ayrton Senna, we move on to F1's guardian angel, Professor Sid Watkins. He was F1's first full-time doctor, a neurosurgeon, and the sport's medical delegate. Born in Liverpool in 1928, he grew up working in his father's bike shop and garage before becoming the first professor of neurosurgery at the London Hospital in 1970. In the paddock, Sid had a presence and manner as a doctor that automatically commanded respect, and when he spoke, people listened. He got things done, and despite that presence, he was also disarmingly forthright, honest, and very entertaining. The defining moment, Imola, 1987. The watershed came after Imola in 1987 when he refused Nelson Piquet's permission to race after a very heavy practice accident at the Tamburello corner. Despite huge pressure from the circuit owners and Piquet and his old friend Bernie Ecclestone, Watkins did not budge. In his own words, "I said that racing wasn't possible because he'd had a head injury and he might have had some brain damage. He said that he hadn't, whereupon I said, 'Well, why have you left your shoe off?' He was only wearing one. He said that his foot was painful and swollen, so he'd left it off. I said, 'Brain damage, foot damage, it doesn't make any difference. You're not fit to drive.' He cried on my shoulder, begged and screamed, and I said to Bernie, 'If Nelson gets into a car, I'm leaving the circuit.'
Damn.
Bernie appreciated his argument, and years later, Piquet admitted that he didn't feel right until the end of the season. From Imola onwards, Watkins' word was law in all medical matters."
Oh, powerful man.
Yeah.
Why that sounds so flirty?
Man of authority.
So what was the state of F1 when he arrived to the sport? Death was a regular occurrence. At least one driver would be killed while racing most years. Damon Hill said, "When Sid arrived in the sport, life was cheap. Drivers were seen as risk takers and playboys. The fatalities were just part of the price for having a good time, really." At Brands Hatch for the British Grand Prix, he was faced with a small, ill-equipped medical centre staffed by 2 ambulance men drinking beer.
Drinking beer? Yikes.
Yeah. At the next race in Germany, at Hockenheim, the emergency facility was a converted single-decker bus, with its staff camping in tents nearby. Watkins immediately told Bernie that circuits should not hold F1 races unless they had properly equipped medical centres. He stipulated that helicopters should be available for all practices, the warm-up and the race, and he also asked to follow the first lap of a race in a fast car equipped with a radio and driven by a competent, recognised race driver who knew the circuit. His deputy, Gary Hartstein, said, "Doctors around the circuit deployed in a certain way with a certain level of competency, ambulance, referral hospitals, the whole system that we take for granted now, he had to create that."
I mean, what he's described there is basically the medical car.
Yeah.
Which lines up at the start of the grid and follows the whole gaggle of cars for the first lap, so they can be there within seconds if there is a first lap incident, because they are very common. But to think that that wasn't an idea, it's very clever.
Yeah.
To have that as, and it helped Romain Grosjean when he crashed in 2020.
Yeah, and to think this was the 70s, and
Yeah.
they hadn't thought of something as simple as drive a medical car behind for the first lap.
Literally, yeah.
Now, Watkins had formed what is described as an unusual bond with Ayrton Senna. Senna stayed at Watkins' farms, went fishing with him, visited his family in Scotland, and was like a member of the family. Susan Watkins described their relationship as a father and son. Sid was very paternal to a lot of the boys, the drivers, but he had a special relationship with Ayrton because he was such a nice young man. After Ronald Ratzenberger's fatal crash on Saturday, Senna appeared at the medical centre door. He cried on Watkins' shoulder when he realised Ratzenberger was beyond saving. The conversation that haunted Watkins, seeing how devastated Senna was, Watkins tried to persuade him to withdraw. He said to him, "What else do you need to do? You have been the world champion 3 times. You are obviously the quickest driver. Give it up and let's go fishing." After a long pause, Senna answered, "Sid, there are certain things over which we have no control. I cannot quit. I have to go on." These were the last words Senna spoke to Watkins, as the next day, as we just heard, Senna had crashed at the Tamburello corner, and Watkins was driven at speed to the accident and immediately joined the rescue effort. He could see from Senna's pupils that he had a massive brain injury and could not survive. In 2001, Sid Watkins said, "Everyone asked me what my emotion was. My emotion was that I hadn't bullied him enough. I so regretted that I hadn't really bullied him." His deputy recalled, "He tells me the story of when he felt Ayrton's soul leaving his body. He's resuscitating this guy who he's deeply, deeply linked to. This is like resuscitating your kid." After Imola, Watkins became chairman of an expert advisory safety committee that assessed everything: car design, crash barriers, circuits, runoff areas. Small changes made massive differences, like padding around the cockpit, raising cockpit levels, and then the hands device. The result? In the 30 years since Imola, Jules Bianchi, who died as a result of a crash at the 2014 Japanese Grand Prix, is the only driver to have lost his life because of an accident in an F1 race since. Watkins' deputy estimates, "I could cite at least 10 accidents that we attended with no injury that would have been fatal if it were not for the barriers, the asphalt, the new helmet. Scores of dead drivers had it not been for this." Damon Hill says, "Maybe we don't deserve someone of his calibre. He was a key player, but in a way that was unusual. It was, in a way, unique and trailblazing, because before that, either nobody cared or the people who did care were told to shut up. And you can't really tell somebody like Sid to shut up." Sid Watkins passed away in 2012, aged 84. He wasn't a driver, but he is one of F1's greatest heroes. He walked into a sport that treated death as entertainment and transformed it into one that values human life above all. He saved countless drivers' lives, but couldn't save his friend Ayrton's. That failure haunted him, but it also drove him to ensure no other family would suffer what the Sennas did. Every driver who walks away from a crash today owes their life to this brilliant, charismatic neurosurgeon who refused to accept that death was just part of the show.
Wow. Yeah, that's definitely a hero.
For sure.
100%.
I mean, it's one of those things, like, it's really tragic, but there's such a beauty in that, because he could have walked away and said, "That's too much.
Yeah.
That's on my hands. I couldn't save Ayrton. I'm going." To be able to say, "I wasn't able to save him, but there's more drivers that need to make sure that they're safe, and I'm going to make sure that's my life's work."
Especially because he knows that Ayrton was so hot on safety
Yeah.
and was so heavily pushing for big changes
Yep.
in the sport. It was kind of like he needed to continue that legacy, and it was something that they were working on together.
Yeah.
And just because Ayrton was gone as a consequence of the fact that they weren't listening, it kind of, I imagine, drove him to fight even more for it.
I mean, he sounds a bit like a bit of a guardian angel for the drivers.
Yeah.
And especially when you compare this to the last deep dive episode we've done, which was the villains one, and we were talking about people like Enzo Ferrari, like Flavio Briatore, and, you know, in one of the previous episodes it was Bernie Ecclestone, and none of these authoritative figures actually cared about the driver's safety. They just wanted them to drive. They just wanted to make them make money, and if they died, they died. But for them, it was the sport going on was more important, and this guy seemed to really care about the drivers and make sure that they were safe. But on the other hand as well, it's like he's 100% a hero, and he's definitely amazing. But why weren't there more heroes like him in the sport at that time?
Yeah.
Like, you know, protecting the drivers and making sure that they're safe should be bare minimum.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be considered a heroic act. That should just be something that's part of the sport, which it is now.
Yeah.
Like, if you got someone on the medical team now, they wouldn't be considered a hero because that's the standard for F1.
Yeah.
So it's really insane that it took until he joined for them to actually start caring about the safety of the drivers.
Yeah, and I mean, we didn't include him in the villains episode because we had established so much previously that he was a villain. But, you know, this was Bernie Ecclestone's era of F1.
Yeah.
And frankly, all he cared about was money.
Yeah.
And the entertainment aspect of it all, and, you know, the riskiness of F1, and, oh, is someone going to lose their life for your entertainment for the sake of getting in these fast cars and pushing them to the absolute limit? Like, it made money. As disgusting as it is to admit, it made money, and that was his sole purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to summarise Bernie Ecclestone's view on things, he basically said that Senna's death actually grew the sport's global audience, and that the wall-to-wall coverage of his crash around the world brought viewers to Formula One in greater numbers that had never been seen before. And he said his death got so much publicity worldwide, again, free of charge, Ecclestone says. It's only when something like that happens that you realise these things, which was quite a chilling way to look
foul.
at something.
Fully.
Yeah,
That's
But-
foul. You're treating someone's life lost as a marketing ploy.
Yeah.
He just saw it as like, whoa, you know, wow, the numbers are really going up. But it's like at the cost of F1 was at that point, it was garnering a lot more entertainment. And a lot of people see Senna's death as an end of an era in lots of respects for the sport.
Yeah.
An end of an era where they started to really look at safety and starting to saying, as we've said, death shouldn't, and injury shouldn't be part of this as entertainment. But also they felt that Senna was just in a league of his own, and it was the death of a fantastic talent taken far too early. So it did divide opinion. Some people are, oh, this safety nonsense, it's taking the heart of the sport away. Whereas lots of people that were mourning the death of Ayrton Senna, hearing stuff like that from Bernie Ecclestone, was like, the fuck are you saying, bro?
Yeah.
Can I get a little bit philosophical?
Whoa, go for it.
We think that as humans, we have evolved so much, but you hear a quote like that and you think we're so barbaric. Like, it harks back to the Romans of, like, having the battles in the Colosseum and, you know,
Yeah,
all
it's
of
true.
that bullshit where it's kind of like, oh, fight to the death for
Yeah.
entertainment, for all the wealthy people who have money. And you think, oh my God, we've come such a long way. You know, we're in this post-war era and we value life so much more. No, you fucking don't. You're all
Yeah.
capitalist greedy. I was about to say a really
I know
naughty
you
word.
had to drop a bomb on the word.
The American audience would not have liked that word.
We're British, like the Brits and the Aussies can get away with that word.
I know, but the Americans do make up our second largest demographic. So I'm glad I caught that one. That was
Hope
for
hope
you.
you enjoyed the Trump intro.
Yeah, no, that's awful.
Yeah.
That's shockingly awful.
Bernie be saying Bernie things, you know.
Ugh, someone stop him.
Yeah, that little scallywag. Would you like to hear the next F1 hero that we have?
I do.
I think you'll know this man.
Oh.
Yes, he's currently wearing green.
He's locked up.
Apparently, right. Oh, Adrian
I'm
Newey.
locked up, they won't let me out.
Oh.
Won't let me out.
I don't know the song.
Akon?
Yes, you do. I'm locked up, they won't let me out. Calm, babe.
That's why he's locked up.
Adrian Newey.
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
it was Akon, actually.
Yeah.
Oh.
Newey's first car, the Leighton House liveried March 881, raced through 1988 and started 1989. Mauricio Gugelmin and Ivan Capelli both took the non-turbocharged car to the podium, and Ivan Capelli briefly grabbing the lead from the McLaren's Alan Prost in Japan. Then came a roller coaster. The car struggled to finish the race in 1989, and Newey was effectively fired in the summer of 1990.
Oh,
I know.
damn.
Out on his
Skill
ear.
issue.
They're harsh.
Skill issue, literally. Newey said, the first car I did in 1988, that was a good little car. Then in 89, we completely messed it up, so I went from being this new hero in the F1 paddock on the engineering side to the idiot that was a one-hit wonder.
Oh,
I know.
but sad.
Yeah. What a loser.
Oh, no.
He never made a comeback. That's all we have on Adrian Newey.
Well, moving on.
You know it to not be true.
I know, it's just playing along.
Not the hee.
You're so playful. Right. And then for the Williams era, Newey was snapped up by Williams for 1991, slotting in as chief designer alongside established technical director Patrick Head. How's your head?
No complaints.
Atta girl. Williams were regularly winning races with the FW14 by mid-season before the 1992 spec FW14B.
Oh,
Innovative
yeah.
naming.
All she said was, oh yeah. The supercomputer, girl.
Oh, yes.
Oh
yes.
my god, Jesus Christ. Your brain is like a fucking sieve for F1 knowledge, I swear to God. Featuring refined aerodynamics from Newey and groundbreaking technology such as the supercomputer. I don't want to be rude, but like, how much was it that amazing, the aerodynamics? Like, the whole car was a supercomputer. Nigel Mansell scored a then record 9 victories in 1992 to comfortably secure the driver's title, while teammate Riccardo Patrice's effort earned Newey his first F1 Constructors' crown. Over the next 5 years, Williams' Newey-designed cars won an incredible 7 out of the 10 championships on offer.
Damn.
Damn! The tallies from his breakthrough period, no fewer than 78 pole positions and 59 race victories, with Alain Prost and Damon Hill and Jacques Villeneuve the other drivers' championship alongside Mansell. And then the McLaren era. Newey joined too late to shape a 1997 design and instead focused on laying the foundations for the 1998 MP413, which is interesting because that is basically what he's doing currently with Aston Martin.
Ooh.
It was built around new narrow track regulations with grooved tyres. Newey hit the ground running once more with his class of the field design, landing McLaren's first drivers and constructors championships in 7 years via Mika Hakkinen and David Coulthard. Damon Hill's assessment, all you can do is look at the team's performances and try to find the common denominator. And you have to say that without him, Williams aren't doing so well. And with him, McLaren are doing much better than they were last year. Hill had neatly summed up to ITV F1 early in the 1998 season that the Newey effect was real.
Oh.
What made him different? As
Had the
McLaren...
skills.
What?
He had the skill.
What's the rhetorical question? I was about to tell you. Thank God I didn't leave it to you. He had the skills.
He had the charisma.
doesn't
Charisma,
really.
uniqueness, nerve, and talent.
Cunt. Oh, sorry. Nav's face just dropped.
I censored myself.
Sorry. As McLaren's former head of vehicle design, Matthew Jeffries, recently said, Adrian goes to the nth degree to get every little bit of performance from every area of the car, and in doing that, he pushes us into areas that were a little bit outside our comfort zones, so he made us consider things and do things which we wouldn't necessarily consider doing. He's a pusher.
Ooh.
Like the teacher from Mean Girls.
I'm a pusher, Katie.
She gets it. She fucking gets it. The Red Bull era.
Oh.
Building a dynasty. I feel like we use the word dynasty in these scripts way too much, so apologies for anyone
It's
that's...
better than climax, I'll take it.
That's true. Building a climax.
First storyline to have about 3 climaxes.
I know, it's sort of the 50 shades of F1 right now. By the mid-noughties, Newey joined Red Bull as Chief Technical Officer, former Williams and McLaren driver David Coulthard and boss Christian Horner playing their part in luring him into an outfit that had not won a single Grand Prix in their current guise.
What did it look like? The outfit.
Ooh, I'm going to tell you a story, and you
Oh.
can't fucking stop me.
Okay.
Once upon a time, Dietrich Mateschitz was carrying over... Dietrich, I'm going to... Give me literally 4.5 seconds. How about that? Dietrich Mateschitz was a businessman, and he was travelling over to have a meeting, I believe, somewhere in Asia. He was absolutely jet-lagged the house. He went into a local corner shop, and he got himself a little drink, which was this thick sort of syrup, which people in that part of the world use as a hangover drink. He took it, and instantly, all of his jet lag was gone. So he was like, hold the fucking phone. The name sort of roughly translated to Red Buffalo. So he decided to take all of the major components from that drink, make it less syrupy and viscous and more like a fizzy drink, and then called it Red Bull. And he then created Red Bull. And the reason that he decided to build an F1 team was it was an elaborate marketing stunt.
Oh.
To show that Red Bull are loud, brave, fast, fun, different. Basically, he started doing sponsorships on different cars as Red Bull, and he was like, it's not going to fucking work unless they start fucking winning. So instead he decided, I'm going to build my own fucking team. Fuck it. Jaguar were in the bin, so Red Bull bought them, and they became Red Bull in 2005.
And they drive so fast that they basically fly, which is why Red Bull gives you wings.
No, because of
Red
the
Bull
lawsuit
gives
that
you
wings! Because that man said, I drank a Red Bull, it didn't give me wings, sued them and won. So now they have to say, wings!
Damn.
Yeah, we're really recycling content here today. Anyway, the 2009 breakthrough. The overhauled regulations in 2009 presented a golden opportunity. Red Bull shut up the order to claim their first pole positions and race wins, although Brawn GP pipped them to the post with their double diffuser innovation, a story for another day. But if you do fancy watching it on Disney Plus, go for it. It's fantastic. Keanu Reeves is also part of it. Not sure why. Anyway.
He's a huge F1 fan.
Oh, really?
Well, so am I, but I'm not on it.
He's also a vampire.
What?
Have you not seen the Keanu Reeves vampire theory?
No.
He doesn't age.
He does.
He's not that old.
I've seen him in Something's Gotta Give.
Is it-
And he looked
is
much younger then.
Is he like 40s?
Try 61.
61?
No way! No way he's 61.
Yeah.
He's 61?
This is proof. None of us are ugly. We're just poor. But then came the golden era. It proved to be the warm-up for a sensational run from 2010 to 2013, where Newey's cars collected 8 successive driver and constructors' crowns in the hands of Sebastian Vettel and Mark Webber. The second peak came in 2021, one of the most gripping campaigns in F1 history that saw a revitalised Red Bull go head-to-head with Mercedes and Max Verstappen dramatically coming out on top in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix final to give Newey and his team their first title since 2013. Across 2022 and 2023, Red Bull won a whopping 38 out of 44 races, including all but one in the latter season. So, Newey's championship record spans Williams from 1992 to 1997, 5 driver championships and 5 constructors championships, McLaren 1998 to 1999, 2 drivers championships and 1 constructors championship, and Red Bull 2010 to 2023, 7 drivers championships and 6 constructors championships.
I mean, when you
Damn.
look at the numbers like that with the year range and stuff, he's lost his touch.
Oh, meow, girl.
He's lost his touch?
Well, with Williams, so you had basically a 5-year span and he got 5 drivers championships and 5 constructors. And then with McLaren, a 2-year period, you got 2 drivers championships and 1 constructors. And then with Red Bull, you've got a 13-year span and only 7 drivers championships and 6 constructors championships. What was he doing the rest of his time?
That could also be
The
that other
Mercedes
teams...
dominance was prime back
I
then.
know,
It could
but
also
come
be
on,
that-
he knows what he's doing as well.
But it could be that other teams just got more advanced, technically, and got
And
more
more money.
engineers. Yeah, more money.
I
And
think he got lazy.
I think that's a wild theory. It's such a
hot take.
reach.
It's a stupid take.
Imagine this man put all of his hard work and actually...
Not hard enough work.
Fuck me. So there
I
was
just
3...
wanted to say something controversial.
Glad you got it out there, girl.
The last contribution I made was Keanu Reeves as a vampire. I had to
The hill
say
you want to
something.
die on is you want to be an Adrian Newey hater.
Well, he's had 3 different dynasties, Williams, McLaren and Red Bull, and Adrian Newey is sort of an invisible hero because the drivers get the glory, but he's the common thread throughout 30 years plus of championship success, and he's proof that in F1, the person with the pencil can be just as important as the person in the car, and at 66 years old, he's joined Aston Martin for one more shot at glory. The man cannot stop winning, and he can also see air.
What?
People say that he can see air because he's able to design cars just like in his head.
Oh.
And he's old school. He just likes a pen and paper.
Oh.
He doesn't like all this fancy-dancy computer lark.
Aston Martin dominance era incoming.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Unless he's lost his touch.
I don't know if this is the hill you went on.
I've said it now, I've got to say it with chest. Moving on then to Sebastian Vettel, from boy wonder to F1's conscience.
Conscience.
Yes.
Spelt con science.
No, I know. I know what it means, but everyone's conscious a weird term.
Spell God science. I think that every time I wrote it.
So do I. That's the only way I know how to spell it.
Scientology. Go on, science. Sorry.
What's that got to do with Scientology?
And I don't want to say that I'm writing about Scientology. I'm not, but let's draw a veil.
Okay.
Thank you.
Don't want the Scientologists coming after us.
No, I actually really don't. No, that's not a joke. I really don't. I'm not. No, stop staring at me. I don't.
I've got like keyword searches and podcasts.
No, and don't put this in the fucking title or the description, dickhead. It's not happening. I don't want them. Thank you.
You can search through the transcript.
Off topic. Have you seen that? You know Benson Boone.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen a whole thing that people are saying that that he does Mormon backflips.
The fuck is a Mormon backflip?
That apparently Mormons are like really into backflips.
He
Because
does
so
give...
are like cheerleaders and gymnasts.
No, but apparently, like, where they're not able to like do a lot of the things that people that aren't part of the Mormon Church can do, a lot of their time is spent being athletic, and it's a very attractive quality if you can do a backflip. And so I saw a video, and it was him doing a backflip, and someone was like, "Oh, girl, you Mormon backflipping bitch."
Right.
You can take that out of the pod. I just wanted to share with you.
He does give coming from occult vibes.
Yeah.
Is Benson Boone Mormon? It's a second search. No. Although he was
Well, he's not
raised
gonna
in the
say
LDS.
it. He's
He
not
was
gonna
raised
say
he was
it.
raised Mormon.
He learned to backflip from the church.
Whoa.
Damn.
Yeah.
And he still chooses to follow some of the church's values, like abstaining from alcohol and drugs.
And backflipping.
No, he does not abstain from backflipping.
Oh, no, he doesn't. He's into backflipping.
Whoa.
Say no to drugs. Say yes to backflips.
Apparently.
Listen, I
Wild.
might be a bit quirky, but I bring a lot of facts about F1 and Mormons. I'm Scientologists. I'm scared about them. They're actually quite scary.
So, the championship years for Sebastian Vettel, which were...
How am I supposed
Oh, I
to
mentioned it in the
know?
last bloody hero we covered. I mean, I'm trying to be nice, but Christ. Just Christ. We're never going to win that podcast award.
It's all because of
It's
you.
all because of you.
Mine and Izzy's work is highly commended, and you're bringing us down.
You are.
Hey, I'm also part of that work.
Who? When did he win? Tell me. You tell me now.
Guess. Take an educated guess.
When did he win?
Yes. What years were his championship winning years? Come on, Reem. Give us something.
Come on, Reem. You can do this.
1995.
Oh my god! Oh my god! You're lost 1 year after Senna.
For context, he was born in 1987.
Red Bull weren't formed until 2005.
That's such a good point.
2010.
Yes!
Really?
Yes! That's not shocking. I said it a minute ago. Oh my god, you're actually going to turn me grey.
Sometimes I just glaze over numbers that you mentioned. Demanding.
It's pretty rude what you just said.
I say glaze over everything.
Just the numbers.
I also said words.
She thinks the sport is called Formula. She's glazed over the number.
She think McLaren came.
P. Because there's no P1, P2.
You sound like a kid.
Lewis and Max are just Times World Champions.
Do Do you know something is gonna make me? It's gonna make me sound so much more stupid, but I have to come clean and admit it.
I actually don't think you do.
when we were watching qualifying, and you say someone was like 6/10 behind this for 3/10, 4/10. I don't know what the fuck you're saying.
My dear
I'm like,
Lord.
yeah. Oh my god. And then I check the order, and I'm like, oh.
Like 0.6 of a second. Why have you just inhaled like that? Why have you done that? Why have you done that?
My brain doesn't work that way.
just time.
Just say 60 seconds. Why is that not?
It's 0.6 of a second, as in less than 1 second.
Oh.
So 5/10 of a second would be half of a second.
Why do they use that?
Because they're all so close in time that they have to go down to tenths and hundredths of a second.
And thousandths sometimes.
Thousands.
We've covered
seconds.
races where we've mentioned that.
Yes, and I never wanted to.
You are not a hero of F1.
You're a villain of this podcast.
You bring shame to
officially.
F1. Sorry, just F.
Listen, some people listening might be just as confused.
Okay. Well, I can't do a whole episode on this, so I guess we'll cover it now.
The math of F1.
Yeah, so you have 1 second.
Yeah. I know that.
And then half a second is the same, but people call it 5/10 of a second.
So how is that half a second then? You said thousands.
So 1,000th of a second would be if you had 1/10 of a second, right? So you know what 5/10 of a second is?
Half a second.
Mm-hmm. So then 1/10 is even less than half of a second, right?
Yeah.
So then 500ths of a second would be half of 1/10 of a second.
That's ridiculous.
No,
That's
it's
how
not.
close it all is, Reem.
It's like going from like having £10 to £1 to 10p to 1p.
Mm.
That's money.
Yes, I know.
Okay, well, you keep pausing. You keep pausing.
She just heard pound, p, p.
Also, you're laid back, so relaxed, no care in the world, no thoughts,
Are
just
you
fucking
kidding?
vibes.
I was explaining the hundredths and she was looking at me like, you don't believe this bullshit, do you? I saw it in your eyes.
This is the stupidest prank I ever heard.
You know I'm never gonna get it. I'm never gonna
we have a
I'm never
podcast
gonna
now.
be-
You kind of
no,
need
but
to.
I'm never gonna be watching F1 with the both of you and speaking about the analysis afterwards and being like, yeah, and like Lando was like 0.6 of a second ahead of P. I'm never gonna say that in my life.
Oh, but it's so important.
It's actually
But,
really interesting to think like that, though. Because then you have like, oh, they're in DRS. He's 0.8 behind. He's 0.8 behind him.
Which means he's less than a second.
I feel like I'll just say he's ahead of him.
The example we gave you would be...
The example we gave was literally he's behind him.
It's cool. I'll just say the opposite to what's actually happening. Details are whatever.
Just nod and smile.
You just don't say anything.
Yep.
Okay, should
That's
we
why I
go
do
back
most
to...
of this podcast.
Should we go back to Vettel before she embarrasses herself more?
Does it feel better to have that weight off your shoulders?
Yes, and if anyone's listening can relate to what I'm saying and have felt too embarrassed to ask, please let me know so that I can be validated.
The comments are just like, you're fucking dumb.
This is why women need to stay in the kitchen.
Oh my god, one of the funniest... Sorry, we're going so off topic, but one of the funniest comments we've gotten on socials before is, I think when I was asking about a driver, I'm like, who's this person? And we've put it as part of a social clip, and one of the comments was like, they're supposed to be experts.
Bitch said who?
It's also like the whole premise of this is that I'm not an expert.
So, we're like, look what we're dealing with, man. Just understand time.
She doesn't hear numbers. Right, I think we need to just come back to Sebastian Vettel before Reem embarrasses herself anymore. So Sebastian Vettel became the youngest ever world champion at age in, then completely dominated in to become the world's...
Repeat the whole sentence because you said
I was deliberately not saying numbers for you.
I was looking like, oh my god, have I written this like a complete caveman?
I thought if you're not going to hear the numbers, I won't say them. Why am I wasting my breath?
It's an immersive episode when we hear it from Reem's brain.
No, I'll go again. Sebastian Vettel became the youngest ever world champion at age 23 in 2010, then completely dominated in 2011 to become the youngest double world champion. In 2012, his third title in a row was hard-earned against the strongest opposition in the longest ever season. In 2013, still just 26 years old, he became the youngest ever quadruple world champion.
Damn.
That's a legacy, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And then we have the 2012 Brazilian Grand Prix, his greatest drive.
Ooh.
The title bout with Alonso was decided at the last race in the Brazilian Grand Prix, made chaotic by rain. Vettel started fourth, but his championship chances nosedived in the mayhem of the frantic first lap when his RB8 was hit hard, sustaining permanent chassis damage and dropping to last place. Vettel responded with a masterful drive in an ailing car, finally emerging from the mits and spray to finish sixth and beat Alonso to the title by 3 points.
Big dick energy.
A little bit of his origin story. At just 3.5 years old, he began his journey in a miniature kart in the yard at his home in Germany.
3.5.
Yeah.
Oh, you said a number.
Little Sebastian quickly mastered the machine and began lapping faster and faster, shrieking with glee and refusing to stop until he was exhausted. One of his early trophies was presented to him by his idol...
German.
Yeah.
Is that what I say? What's correct?
That's Austrian.
He's got a lot of titles.
And one of the greatest drivers of all time.
German. Fucking German. We've just said it.
Michael. Really? Michael Schumacher.
You're lovable, but my god, you make this painful.
Who befriended the awestruck boy, noting their similar backgrounds and encouraging him to follow his passion to reach the top. Formula One fans, or to you, Formula fans, liked what they saw. He was cheerful and funny and radiated infectious enthusiasm. His sunny disposition was a reflection of the pure pleasure he got from his profession. Drive My Car by the Beatles was his favourite song.
Baby, you can drive my car. I know you can be a star.
He loved offbeat...
I've been cut off.
It's not about you. It's about Vettel.
Sorry.
He loved offbeat British humour, notably Monty Python, Mr. Bean and Little Britain. I'm above it. He admitted he was afraid of mice, but nothing about Formula One racing worried him. How adorable, he's afraid of mice.
I think he's such a lovely man.
Yeah. At age 17, he won an unprecedented 18 out of 20 races to dominate the German Formula BMW Championship. His Formula One race debut came in 2007 at the US Grand Prix in Indianapolis, where he became the youngest driver to score a championship point. In 2008 at Monza, the youngest ever pole sitter became the youngest ever Grand Prix winner in treacherous rain.
Oh.
For 2015, Sebastian Vettel replaced Fernando Alonso at Ferrari. The new relationship worked wonders, with Vettel's inspirational leadership providing the impetus for a dramatic resurgence. His 3 race wins earned him 3rd place and led Ferrari to 2nd in the team standings. But the title just never came.
Oh.
In 2017 and 2018, despite often having competitive cars, Vettel finished 2nd to Lewis Hamilton both years. Episodes of clumsy driving suggested a desperation to return to his winning ways. In Baku, he deliberately banged into Lewis's Mercedes and was penalised.
Oh.
In Singapore, he helped trigger a first-lap accident that ended his race and effectively sabotaged his championship chances. And in 2020, Ferrari advised Vettel that his contract would not be renewed. His fall from grace after 6 seasons with the famous Italian team undoubtedly hurt. He finished 13 in the driver's standings, Ferrari's worst season in decades.
Ooh. Ooh, we were watching the Drive to Survive episode for that one.
Yes.
We did, yeah.
And it was very awkward.
It was, yeah.
The whole
Yes.
interaction between him and the Ferrari team.
But wasn't he?
He's kind
He's
of
quite
over
good
it.
fun, wasn't he? He
Yeah.
was just not. He didn't give a fuck.
He was all
Yeah.
vibes at that point.
Literally all vibes.
Just checked out.
Yeah.
You.
I mean, it is midnight.
It's midnight. Why can't you read numbers?
I summarised.
You rounded the wrong way.
Literally.
After 15 years in Formula One, he acknowledged he grew up in the sport, regretted earlier examples of bad behaviour that had marked him as a sore loser. He was grateful to have matured and become a responsible adult, more self-aware and dedicated to improving himself as a person. Inspired by Lewis Hamilton's crusade, Seb chose to use his high profile to promote positive change in social justice, political and environmental issues. In Austria, he worked with children to build hotels for bees. After the British Grand Prix, he helped remove the litter from the grandstands. He held an all-women karting event in Saudi Arabia, wore the gay pride flag in Hungary, and threatened to boycott any race in Russia after the invasion in Ukraine. His peers admired Seb's high moral values and especially his kindness, a rare phenomenon among highly competitive racers. Max Verstappen spoke about his best memory of Vettel. After his heavy crash in 2021 at Silverstone, Max was taken to hospital. When he returned to the paddock late that night, Seb was waiting for him. He said to me, "Are you okay, Max? How are you doing?" That just shows he's super nice, caring person who is not just there for performance but means well.
Oh.
Midway through the 2022 season, the 35-year-old veteran announced that he would retire. After 300 races, his 53 victories and 4 consecutive drivers' titles positioned him an impressive third behind Michael Schumacher and Lewis Hamilton when looking at the greats. On the evening prior to his final F1 race, all of the drivers treated Seb to a farewell dinner, hosted by Lewis Hamilton.
Oh.
In the morning, on the starting grid, they arranged themselves in a respectful honour guard, saluting, clapping and cheering their departing compatriot. He considered his close family life as his greatest achievement. His biggest win was his deep love for his wife and their children.
Oh, that's awesome.
So easily impressed.
Seb's hero story here is unique because it's all about evolution. He arrived to the sport as a cocky, finger-wagging boy who dominated with Red Bull. But when the title stopped coming at Ferrari, when he made mistakes, when he was replaced, he could have become bitter. Instead, he grew up. He became F1's conscience. While still racing, he picked up litter at tracks, built bee hotels with children, championed LGBTQ+ rights in countries where it was dangerous to do so, and threatened to boycott races over human rights. The kid who was afraid of mice became brave enough to stand up for what mattered. That's the transformation that makes Vettel a hero. Not just winning 4 world championships by age 26, but choosing to use his platform to make the world better, even when his own F1 world was crumbling around him.
Damn, now I understand F1's conscience.
There we go.
Conscience. It's a conscience.
You did it the first time, girl.
Conscience.
Conscience. Thank you. Isn't that so wholesome though?
Yeah.
I remember when he was in the sport and he would win. I mean, he was very similar to Max Verstappen, to be honest with you. He was a Red Bull, born and bred racer, and he had that same grit and determination, and at some points quite, razor blades on the elbows kind of tactics. But he would always win, and he'd have his finger wagging as like a number one and be like, "Woo!" It was very annoying. And I can't lie. And also, it's always, everybody finds it annoying when someone's winning all the time. But then you look back once they've finished their time winning and you think like, damn, that was a moment. Do you know what I mean? Like Max winning all those
To quote
titles.
The Office, I wish there was a way of knowing that you're in the good times before they end.
There we go.
Damn.
Also, when he announced his retirement, it was like very tear-jerking.
Oh, it really was. So he didn't have like an Instagram or anything, but he created an Instagram and then posted this like black and white video of him basically announcing his retirement, saying that he was going to choose to do more like social impact work and stuff like that. And like it went like viral.
Oh.
And, Lewis obviously arranged the farewell meal for him, and that is now something that has carried on all these years. And every year they now do like a end of the year dinner with all of the racers, which is obviously where the Max George chair fiasco happened at the last one. But yeah, I think it's really sweet that kind of started
cute.
with him.
Good man.
Okay.
Good boy.
Good boy.
Do you want to tell us about our final hero?
I do. Lewis Carl Davidson Hamilton was born into a mixed race family on the 7th of January 1985 in Stevenage, a quiet English town in the north of London. His father Anthony, whose family emigrated from Grenada in the West Indies in the 1950s, and his mother Carmen divorced when Lewis was about 2 years old. Anthony Hamilton, his mentor and manager, worked day and night for years. At one time he held 3 different jobs, to further his son's racing career, which effectively began when 8-year-old Lewis was given a well-used go-kart that cost nearly as much as the family's modest monthly income. And then came the famous meeting.
Oh.
In 1995, a 10-year-old karting champion, wearing a borrowed suit and shoes, picked up 2 trophies at a motorsport awards ceremony in London. Brandishing an autograph book prepared by his father, he approached Ron Dennis, boss of the McLaren Mercedes Formula 1 team. I said, "Hello, Mr. Dennis, I'm Lewis Hamilton, and one day I'd like to race for your team." I asked him for his autograph and his phone number. He put them in my book and also wrote, "Call me in 9 years."
Damn.
The call was made just 3 years later, and it was the Hamilton household telephone that rang. It was Ron Dennis who presented Anthony with an offer to financially support his son's career for the foreseeable future. And then the 2008 championship. Is that Glock?
I got a Glock and Ferrari.
You got a Timo Glock in your Ferrari. The grand finale. A serpentine Interlagos circuit, made more tricky by rain, produced arguably the most thrilling end to a season in the annals of any sport. Local hero Felipe Massa mastered the chaotic conditions perfectly, crossing the line to finish first and scoring the points necessary to become champion that year, which he was for 38 seconds, before his rival took the checkered flag in the 5th place that he needed to finish on top of the world. With his final flourish, having overtaken another car with about 300 metres to go, Lewis Hamilton, aged 23 and around 300 days old, not to be too technical, became the youngest world champion.
I did see that clip.
Oh yeah?
Mm-hmm. It was
So you
very
should have
fun-
understood me saying, "Is that Glock? Is that Glock going slowly?"
No, I don't.
It is!
I don't know.
So Lewis was in 6th place and he needed 5th to be the world champion. Massa crossed the line and everyone in the Ferrari garage was celebrating, thinking, "Oh my god, Lewis is in 6th, Massa's won in 1st, he's going to be champion, oh yay, let's all celebrate." And then out of nowhere, Timo Glock is driving very, very slowly, his car is breaking down, and Lewis passes him, takes 5th place, wins the championship.
There's also, in that clip, there's a Ferrari engineer who ends up smashing like a
Yes!
wall.
He does.
Because well, that's when they realise that Lewis has actually won.
Yeah, and there's loads of them rushing to being like, "Stop fucking celebrating, you're on camera."
Yeah.
It's like a La La Land Moonlight moment. You remember in the Oscars, La La
Oh
Land
yeah,
won?
yeah.
And then it turns out that they read the wrong name. It was
I'm with
actually
you.
Moonlight.
I'm there with you, I got you. Sorry.
Thank you.
Lost you temporarily. Back with you. The records. After 288 F1 races, his records include 103 victories, 103 pole positions, 183 podium appearances, and numerous other distinctions. His 7 world championships equalled Michael Schumacher's historic achievement. But, having exchanged the championship lead throughout the year, the adversaries came to the final race exactly equal on points. Hamilton convincingly led Verstappen until a backmarker's crash with a few laps remaining closed up the field behind the safety car. To preserve his lead, Hamilton stayed out on worn tyres, whilst Verstappen pitted for fresh rubber. The race director instructed only those lapped cars separating the 2 frontrunners to unlap themselves, which normally would have been all the lapped cars on the grid, thus clearing the way for a last lap all-out racing moment. The Red Bull car, on newly fitted tyres, easily overtook the Mercedes, and Max Verstappen was the new world champion. Hamilton's response was, "Firstly, a big congratulations to Max and his team. I think our team did an amazing job. We give it absolutely everything and we never gave up. That's the most important thing." Mario Andretti, the 1978 world champion, tweeted, "The Lewis Hamilton masterclass on how to be the best in every way. A champion who wins most days and shows the world how to behave and stay composed when situations aren't kind to you. LH brings his A game even when his soul is ripped out. Strength, control of spirit, role model."
Damn.
But the real heroicism of Lewis has been off track, whilst he's been promoting positive social change. Using his high profile, communicating directly via social media to millions around the world, he supports worthy causes such as human rights, children's welfare, environmental sustainability, animal welfare, disaster relief, and especially racial equality and diversity. He spearheaded the drivers' Black Lives Matter pre-race ceremony, established himself as an articulate spokesman campaigning against racial injustice, and became a prominent crusader in the movement to create equal opportunity for the disadvantaged. From his unique perspective atop the pinnacle of motorsport, Lewis Hamilton saw a flawed, wider world and took it upon himself to use his position of power to become a force for good. He revealed that he wept in his helmet on the cooling down lap after securing his 7th championship that equalled Michael Schumacher's heroic achievement. He confided that he still finds the build-up to a race terrifying, that doubts and uncertainties are personal demons. He uses prayer and meditation, practices yoga, reads self-help books to control his fears, and boost his confidence. His stepbrother, Nicholas, suffers from cerebral palsy, and Hamilton says, "I only have to think of Nick to feel motivated and put a smile on my face."
Oh,
Cute.
Yeah.
During his disastrous 2020 season, Sebastian Vettel much appreciated a compassionate Hamilton calling him frequently to cheer him up and motivate him. After his 2021 title loss, Anthony Hamilton embraced and consoled his son, and then generously congratulated Max and his father Jos Verstappen. A few days later, Lewis Hamilton visited the Mercedes factory, praising the team on winning an 8th consecutive Constructors' Championship and thanking them for their efforts on his behalf, encouraging the personnel to not be discouraged. And then came the knighthood. Accompanied by his mother Carmen to the ceremony at Windsor Castle, Sir Lewis Hamilton was officially knighted by Prince Charles. But the bottom line is, he broke every single barrier. A black kid from a working-class town, wearing a borrowed suit, asked for an autograph and built a dream. His dad worked 3 jobs to give him a chance. He became not just F1's first black driver, but its greatest statistically. 103 wins, 7 championships, and knighted by the king. Lewis has proved that a kid from Stevenage could not only compete in F1's overwhelmingly white world, but also dominate it. And then, having reached the absolute peak, he didn't just celebrate, he used that platform to pull others up with him. He's faced the sport's racism, its resistance to change, the devastation of 2021, and kept fighting. Not for wins, but for justice. And that's heroic.
Yeah, you can't deny Lewis Hamilton has a big legacy. I think he's one of the only drivers that, even if you don't watch F1, you probably still recognise Lewis Hamilton's name.
Yeah, he's a household name for sure.
Yeah, like you said, he's done a lot of positive change, because we've even spoken on previous episodes about his, the work he's done for Pride and human rights, and on
Black
top
designers
of that,
with the Met Gala.
Yeah, that's fucking iconic.
Yeah. And on top of that, is he one of the first to build a brand? Like, proper build a brand for himself?
Yeah, he's not really like normal other drivers. I think he rubs shoulders with a lot of celebrities, he knows a lot of people, but I also think that he finds creativity and a way to recharge outside of the driving. He finds, working with fashion and being able to create brands is how he is able to sort of cut out the noise from F1 and focus on other things. So I think he's probably the most successful at doing so.
And he definitely paved the way for other drivers to be able to sort of show their love and care for things like fashion and stuff like that. You see the drivers coming to the tracks now during, press days on Thursday and in the mornings before they get in the car and stuff, and they're all kitted out in team stuff but also their own clothes. I love seeing what jeans Leclerc's gonna rock up in, but that is all majorly down to Lewis, because he turned the pit lane into a little runway for himself, and other drivers have said because of Lewis, I'm now pursuing some stuff in fashion, and I'm trying to create a clothing line and stuff like that.
That
so
also expands opportunities for drivers to become brand ambassadors, more sponsorship, which means bringing in more money to the sport. So, I mean, even if he didn't intend for that to be something that he did on purpose, he probably made the sport more successful by doing that.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think it's nice as well because you see a lot of the drivers on the grid, especially the rookies, for example, like Isaac Hadjar is like an absolute fanboy for Lewis, which I think is very sweet, but also very funny.
Did you see the video of him going up to Lewis after Roscoe passed?
Oh.
Yeah, I did.
Such a cutie.
But he's like a Lewis fan through and through. And I've also seen quite a few different people across the grid that have said, like, oh, Lewis is a really down-to-earth guy. He's been able to give me advice. I thought it was really sweet that he wrote a little message for Kimi Antonelli in the mobile home, knowing that Antonelli would see it for the European leg of this season. And it was just some words of encouragement.
Aww.
And Kimi really appreciated it, but also said, like, I'm not going to share the message. It was just something that Lewis, wrote for me, and I want to cherish that. So I think even though that he's a massive superstar and everybody knows him and his legacy speaks for itself, he has a platform and is very well established in the F1 world, but he's more than happy to be able to like sort of share the light and the spotlight with some of the newcomers and give them advice and support and shout them out, which I think is really sweet.
And foots the bill at all of the end of year drivers' dinners.
I mean, he has the biggest budget, I feel.
So those are the heroes. Who is the biggest hero to you?
Ooh, I don't think I remember his full name, but the doctor,
Professor Sid Watkins.
Professor Sid Watkins, Professor Sid Watkins. Just because, I mean, without him, drivers would still be dying.
Yeah,
And
that's very true.
it's an easy way to summarise it.
the sport needed someone to come in and change things up and actually start protecting them and looking out for the drivers and make changes. And I think as well, if they didn't get him and there was the whole publicity after Ayrton Senna passed away, then people would have probably started protesting the sport as well if they didn't start making changes, and it might not have thrived as much as it has now. It might have actually stopped making money a long time ago.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think he's a real hero for the sport because he protected the drivers.
Well, not only that, you wouldn't have drivers with multiple world champions like we do now, because they might be injured or they might have passed away from tragic accidents. So the fact that you're able to have people like Michael Schumacher and Sir Lewis Hamilton having the amount of championships they have is a result of the fact that the sport is safer, so that they're not at risk of hurting themselves whilst they go racing hard.
Yeah.
Nav, who's your ultimate hero from the list we've given today?
It's Sid.
Is it Sid?
Yeah.
Mine's Senna.
Yeah, that's a good one, to be fair.
I think that there's just an allure and an intrigue about Ayrton Senna, and I love the fact that he was so spiritual and he saw racing almost as an extension and a metaphor for life, and he sort of grabbed life by the balls and went for it. And the fact that he was able to push himself to just the razor edge of perfection when it came to racing and saw it as a religious experience, I think it's a determination and a grit that's of a different realm that I don't think we've seen that since Senna.
Yeah.
Because although you see the greats like Max and Lewis and other drivers that have, graced the grids over the years, I've never heard any of them saying it's a religious experience. None of them have spoken in the way that Ayrton did. I think that his inspiration continues to this day. And there's still so much passion in Brazil for what he was able to achieve. One of those things being that a lot of racing drivers that originated from Brazil would come over to European circuits and championships, and they'd kind of hide the fact that they were from Brazil because there was a lot of social unrest, there was a lot of poverty and a lot of issues in that country, whereas Ayrton actually embraced it and had a lot of Brazilian pride, which was a very meaningful thing for the people of Brazil at that time. So I think he's transcended the sport in his own way, and I think he's an icon.
Yeah, completely agree. Now, before we wrap up, there is one last thing I would like us to talk about, which is not to do with... well, actually, no, it is a hero. The Grand Prix podcast has a hero, and our hero goes by the name of Ink Trooper. Who kindly let us know by leaving a comment on Spotify the reason for why Lando was booed at the Mexican Grand Prix.
Aha!
So, Ink Trooper wrote, Mexican here, context for the booing. Lando fell from Mexican grace last year when Carlos was out of the seat, and Lando started kind of lobbying for him for Red Bull, even though Checo had a contract still. And then Monza happened, so people feel like he's been given the championship on a silver platter. And the fact that he defends, in air quotes, that is comparing it to Hungary 24, where he almost didn't give the position back to Piastri, makes him seen as a cocky, petulant child. I personally don't go that far, but I do like him less than in 2024.
Ink Trooper, you're iconic. Well, I mean, we kind of sussed that it might have been that we understood why it happened in Monza. Why the people in the coverage didn't just go up and fucking ask, for fuck's sake. Why the fuck are we all having this sort of, introspections, conversations about it? That makes complete fucking sense.
Yeah. Especially the stuff with Perez's contract as well.
Yeah, well, it's a good news for the Mexican fans because next year he will be back on the grid,
Yeah.
which is very exciting with Cadillac.
Oh yeah.
So he'll be back
With
at his home
Bottas.
Grand Prix. Yes, Valtteri Bottas.
And good news for Ream, she won't need to care about the seconds and its relevance for DRS because DRS isn't going to exist next year.
Really?
No, DRS won't exist in 2026. The drag reduction system will be removed and replaced by a new manual override system, which gives drivers extra electrical power to help them with overtaking.
So this will be something we cover towards the end of this F1 season or potentially next year before the racing gets started. But Reem, you have a lot of learning to do because the regulations do be changing and honestly, a lot of changes. Yeah, a lot of changes to how the actual philosophy of these cars are going to be moving.
There's also talks at the moment of introducing more mandatory 2 pit stops.
Ah.
Yeah.
That's boring.
Why is that boring?
Because it happened in not Monza, Monaco.
Monaco was probably not the right place to do it.
Yeah.
That was a fucking shit show.
Yeah.
And the fact I was forced to have to talk about it for an hour and a half after, I was like, I don't know what happened.
But it's also, it's also exciting when they do a one-stop strategy and then you're kind of waiting to see, are they going to make it to the end on these tyres, and if they've gone past 30 laps, and are they going to start slowing down, or will they still be able to have speed towards it? And it's exciting.
It is, but then to be fair, like I feel like every single race, Pirelli are making the tyres softer and softer and softer and softer, and then the tyres just don't seem to give up more than a one-stop race. So it's
They've
like
made tyres that are frankly too good.
Literally. So I feel like potentially they're not actually doing the most exciting strategies because a one-stop manages to cover it all in most instances.
It'll be interesting to see. But like I said, we will cover it in depth before the 2026 season.
A lot of content to churn out when there's no racing.
Oh, yeah. But that is it for our Heroes episode and the end of the Heroes and Villains series. We do have a little bit of bad news, listeners. So, can you sense the mood change? So, around this time last year, the girls and I thought, let's try something new. Let's do something we've never done before. Let's go on a 3-week holiday to a more remote part of the world. And yeah, we decided to do that and book it. And then 4 months later, we said, hey, let's try something new.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start a podcast that's going to occupy every weekend of ours. And now it's kind of time for us to go on that holiday.
Yep.
Right as the season is properly hotting up with the championship. So we arrive on our holiday the day of the Brazilian Grand Prix.
Yes, we do.
Now we are determined to make sure that you don't get affected by us wanting to have a break. So our break will be paused for the love of racing. But please bear in mind that we are not going to be in our normal recording setup, in our normal recording location. There might be occasions where we're on overnight trains doing recordings. There might be times where we are camping by a river.
Yep.
So please bear with us. If there is a dip in sound quality, I will of course try my hardest to make sure that it's not unlistenable. But yeah, just putting that out as a warning in case you think, something sounds a bit different.
I mean, we love doing this podcast, but we haven't really had a proper break this year, and we've been saving up our annual leave so we could go away and enjoy ourselves, switch off from work and have some fun with the girlies. And now we have a sort of a Grand Prix baby that we have to look after, and we don't have any babysitters, so kind of have to carry on, but it's going to be a slightly different format that we're going to do. But ultimately, we love making this podcast, so we're going to try our best and hodgepodge something together.
We'll still be releasing content. It will just be more unfiltered, more unhinged, but still great fun.
Yes.
But we won't be releasing any episodes in the weeks where there are no races. We will actually take that as, a bit of holiday time. So no more deep dives until we are back in December.
And probably less content and socials as well.
Just a warning. But we still love you. You're still a priority.
Don't get abandonment issues. We love you, baby.
But yeah, wish us a safe flight, I guess.
Oh, I can hear them. Thank you.
And on that note, Make sure you like, follow, share, subscribe to the podcast, to all of our socials. We're available on every podcast streaming player that you can possibly imagine. We're also available on socials for X, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Share us with friends, share us with family, share us with pets, share us with your enemies.
Whoa.
See ya!